there, my brave souls. Hey, happy Friday to you. I hope it's Friday anyhow. I hope I'm getting this out on Friday. I wanted to just talk to you for a minute first about the things that I found about the Jinn, the coincidences between them and what we're seeing now. One of the things that I found, oh my goodness, there is this understanding, I think, that Jinn sometimes switch their babies with human babies, and they are called changelings. I don't know if any of you, if this rings a bell, I'm sure with most of you it does, but changelings are the same thing that happens with the Fae. Supposedly they will sometimes swap their babies for healthy human babies, so that way the human gets the unhealthy baby. And they're also called changelings. That's a really big connection. And there were 3 reasons that were given why they might want to swap their baby with a human baby. They might want the human baby to grow up as a servant. They might love the human child and want it for itself. Or they might want their Jinn child to grow up in the human world, this is telling, without all of the suffering in the Jinn world. Gosh, that's really sad. I kind of thought, wow, I would think that if you're a great big powerful married Jinn, or even the John, that you wouldn't really be suffering because you could do so many things. I would think that you would help your own kind also. So that would just kind of threw me for a loop because I hadn't expected that. But there are a lot of similarities between the Jinn and the Fae. I found a book by Rosemary Ellen Guiley, I believe. She had written over 50 books researching different entities, paranormal. She considered herself to be a paranormal investigator. She passed away a couple of years ago, so unfortunately we don't have anything super current, but when I read some of the reviews from her book, that was really telling. I did not purchase her book, but I did read some of the reviews. And according to her, the Jinn are indeed the shadow people. And as some of you might remember, I have been dealing with shadow people myself for over a year. I think it was like last July. I was lying in bed trying to go to sleep. And we all see shadows. It's completely normal to see some shadows before you go to sleep. But I noticed like hours later, I was still seeing these shadows. It was super, super bizarre. So I did some research and such on them and really couldn't find very much. And then one of our fellow brave souls here told me basically how to get rid of them because I'd had a scary experience at one point. There were 3 of them that were bluff charging me. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't like that a bit. And I am fearless. I mean, you guys who know me, I go out and sleep in my camper by myself in the middle of the forest, surrounded by all kinds of entities. I'm up there a lot by myself. And I really have no fear. I've worked through some stuff. Let's just put it that way. But when they were bluff charging me, I got to tell you, that really kicked me in the gut. Then I had another episode that was not something that I would say was scary, but it was creepy. As I was lying in bed, and I pray out loud so that the Jinn can hear me every single night. And one of the things that I always include in my prayers are that only people of the unseen world and the seen world who are in God's light may approach me or be around me. That any entity or being or person that is not in God's light is not allowed to be around me. But I also pray that something touches their heart, that they hear something and that they understand how much they are truly loved, and that something will bring them around. So I have no fear that any of these entities that I see are going to hurt me, because I'm going to tell you one thing, I don't think they can. Honestly, I don't think they can. So as I was lying in bed, there were like hordes of them everywhere. I've been watching a portal. This is another large project I've been working on. I've been watching a portal next to my house. And I saw one of the craziest things I've ever seen on the strawberry moon. I'll tell you about that later when I get to that video. But so I have been watching this dark area. And this, I don't believe, is a portal made by Jinn. I don't know what it is. I've seen Faye up there making a portal. They built those black powder mildew webs. So I've seen those come and go, you know, but a couple of nights, the shadows like overtook my house. So I had these things everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So I looked at my door and I saw this great big giant black shadow fly into my room. I'm telling you, my friends, it was unnerving. It really was. It really was unnerving. But you know what? Because I do not allow fear to rule my life, I was able to think clearly in that situation. I turned the light on. That's all I had to do, is turn the light on, because you can't see them when the light is on, or at least I can't. I can't see them when the light is on. So it was overcrowded. I said, you guys, you're like too many in here. And I just turned the light on. So I couldn't see them, and I went to sleep and had a peaceful night's sleep. But had I been like, you know, terrified and allowed that to really scare me, like I said, it was creepy. It really was. It was very creepy. But had I allowed that to scare me, then I might have just ran out of the room and, you know, put my house on the market, took off. But the thing is, they're going to follow you anywhere. And there's always some things people will say, like, I don't know why they want to stare at us so much. Why do they want to stare at us so much? I spend hours watching them on my security camera, because I learned so much more about them watching them. So I think it kind of makes sense that if our veil is going to be removed and we are going to be able to see them all the time, then it makes sense that they want to really get to know us very well. I think they have more to be afraid of than we do. I mean, that's the way that I feel about it, because they are just like us. They are people just like us, and they already know about us. So they're not skittish about us, because they already know. They know stuff about us. Us, on the other hand, we don't know things about them. So because we don't know things about them, people are going to be scared. I mean, how many times have you heard of somebody shooting at a Sabe, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, right? I forget which state it was. I'm not going to say because I forget exactly, but one of them was talking about having a hunting season for them. They're people. They are not animals. They're people. And what you're talking about is murder. I watched an interview with a guy who had killed a mother and one of her twin children. And he said that when he picked up the dead twin and looked at it, he said, I knew right then I committed murder, because this was a human child. This guy passed all these lie detector tests and stuff, saying that he was telling the truth. I mean, it's things like that, and things like people saying that the Sasquatch are the Nephilim. They're not the Nephilim. They are not the Nephilim. And if you are watching this for the first time on my channel, then please do look up Christian Message Part 1, because I go over that. Because again, if they come out into sight, you know there are going to be people who are going to be out there who are going to say, hey, you darn right I'm going to shoot one. They're Nephilim. I'm going to do it for God and do it for humanity. I'm going to rid the planet of Nephilim. That is so dangerous. And we're getting so much more in. I think that my own feeling is that the Sabe will probably be the first ones that will be introduced into our society. And you know that the Catholic Church demonized all of the Fae. However, in the Quran, they did not demonize the Jinn. I believe that many of them are the same. And I'm going to show you some photos here. I'm not going to talk all day, I promise. I'm going to show you some of the photos. But I did want to talk to you about that because this has been a very big project for me. And like I said, when she started saying that the Jinn were also related in the fairy phenomenon, also, too, some people are born with an attunement or openness to these other dimensional realities. I started being able to see a few of what I will call little people, just little, small amount, you know, and at night when the shadow people come and visit me, I mean, I see their eyes every once in a while will pop out. They're very clear. And that kind of blew me away that I could actually see their eyes like glow. It's almost like a car reflection, you know, a light reflection on an animal, but it's not the solid circle. It's actually like the line or part of the eye, the around the iris, you know, you can actually see detail. It's very unusual, and I can see them in shadow form. And I'm telling you guys, I know so many people are worried about them being demons. But again, you have to look at this from a accurate historical perspective. We have been lied to so many times. It is baffling how much we've been lied to. And like I said, the Catholic Church demonized the Fae. So people could not keep in touch with the Fae. They couldn't, you know, they couldn't continue to have interactions. And of course they didn't record anything because they didn't want to be called out as a witch or whatever. So what we have to go by are now white witches, what they say about them. And I say, I only read it, you know. And then when you think about the Jinn, we have a wealth of information about them from the Quran. And the Quran clearly says that they are just like us. There are good, there are bad, there are downright evil. I mean, I have known a couple of downright evil people in my life. One downright truly evil man came after me one night in college, and that's how my PTSD started. He murdered a woman at 4 o'clock in the morning, which was just a few hours after he had chased after me, who was the same height as me, about the same size, had the same hair. The only difference was she was quite a bit older than me, but looked very young by all accounts. So there are demon people in this world. So what we have to do, I think, is you have to decide if you have faith in a greater power or not. Because if you do, then you should feel comfortable leaning on that greater power to guide you, protect you, and help you through anything that you're facing. So far, these shadow people, these Jinn, have not harmed me at all. I mean, none. Like they, They actually try to hug me sometimes. It's like a Congo train of shadows hugging. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. It's so funny sometimes. But you have to decide how strong your faith is. The way I look at it like the Quran said, the veil was placed over our eyes, but it will not be there forever. So I look at it like at some point, I will be able to see them in real life. I don't have any idea what kind they are, if they're marids or if they're ifrits or, what they are. I'll find that out, when the veil is lifted. But I don't think that you have to be scared of these things, but that's a decision that you need to make for yourself. I'm very committed in my faith, very strong. I have I have some, like I said, some really cool stories about them, and it's bizarre, and sometimes it can be a little unnerving, but also at the same time, I have seen some really wild things, like something that almost looked like a small gray. It had kind of like a pinkish gray skin and a very tiny nose, very large eyes. And when it came up to me in my room and I saw it kind of face to face, I said, wow, you are so cool. I love your eyes. It actually smiled. Thanks for watching, my brave souls. I love you guys. Be safe out there. And if you haven't subscribed, it would be awesome if you would join our group. Okay, take care.